YouTube. Today we're going to kill a few birds with one stone, and I've had a couple requests here lately, and we're going to see if we can address a couple of these requests in one video. But before I get started, I'm going to let you know that all these guns are been safety checked, they're not loaded, and as I pick them up I'll show you there's nothing in them. So recently here I had a request to see what the trigger pull is, the pull weight on a Colt Anaconda, and we happen to have one of those right here. It's a 44 Magnum new style 4 1/4 inch Colt Anaconda. We're gonna do that here today. I've had a couple people question what kind of grips these are. These are the Blackwood or Silverback, whatever they call, Altamont grips, and I can't remember the model number, but they are on their website and they do look awesome on that, so that takes care of that. Another request I've had is to compare the trigger pull between a newer release, the newer style Colt Python, and the original Colt Pythons, and we're going to do that today here also. So the newer Colt Python I have here, I've had a couple questions about what kind of grips these are. These were also Altamont grips, so these are older ones. These are the ones they put on the Colt Python Elites back in the 1990s, and I had my own little wording written here. I have a video on why I put that on there. It's from the movie Pulp Fiction, but this is the newer released in the past 5 years or so Colt Python 4 1/4 inch and stainless. And finally we have the vintage one. This one was made in 1984. This is a bright stainless Colt Python. This is the original release one, and we'll do a trigger pull comparison between the old one and the new one. So we'll start off with this Colt Anaconda, and we're gonna grant this gentleman's request. And I haven't done these, folks. I don't know what the results are going to be, but we're going to be using this lineman gauge right here. I've done a couple trigger pull demonstrations on YouTube, and hopefully they'll allow me to do it here. So we're going to start off with the Anaconda, and we're going to do a double action pull here. I'm just going to do it 2 or 3 times to see what it averages out to. So whoops, we're going to start off here, and we're going to do a pull, and it shows up to 10.1. We're going to do a couple more here. That one comes up 11, and we're going to do one more, and that one's going to be 10.9. So I'm going to say it's going to be in the high 10 pound range on the Anaconda, and it is smooth all the way through, so it does not actually feel like a 10 pound pull to me, folks. Now we're going to do a single action pull on the Anaconda, and then we're going to see what we get here, and we're just going to pull on it, and it's going to be 6.7 pounds. We're going to do it again, see if we can get it to zero out here. And well, guess we got to cock it first since we're doing a single pull. And here we go, and it's going to be 6 pounds. So you're looking at about 6 pounds on the Anaconda, and on the double action pull you're looking at right around 10 pounds on the Anaconda. So that's what you can expect on an out of box pull on the Anaconda, about 6 pounds on double or single action, and about 10 pounds on the double action here. And it's a very smooth trigger pull. If you'll look, these things are very good. So we're going to compare the newer one to the older one, and this is the big debate when they re-release these Colt revolvers, especially this Python. The trigger had to be right, or people were going to pick it apart. Well, people end up picking it apart anyway. No matter what they did to it, people are never going to accept this one over this one, and people that just have this one think it's a waste of money to spend the extra and get the older vintage one. It's an argument that I'm not going to have, but we're going to see right here today what the trigger pulls are like. So we're going to take this newer Colt Python here, and we're going to clear this thing off. We're going to do a double action pull on it, see what the double action pull is. Looks like it's going to be right around 10 pounds. So we'll just do a couple of them to see what it averages out to. That one came out to 8 pounds. So let's keep going a couple more times to see what we'll do here. Yeah, we got another 8 pound pull. So we're going to do it again, and it's going to be 9 pounds. So I would say in the high 8s. I'd say the first one was a little little off. That's the operator here. Now let's see what the single action pull is going to be on this one. So we're going to clear this one, and we're going to see what the single action pull is going to be. And you're looking at right around 6 pounds. So we'll clear that out and try it again. Cock the hammer back and pull back on it. Whoops. We're going to see if we can get it to work this time. Hit ready and pull back on this. And it's about 6 pounds. So I would say it's safe to say this is probably a 8 to 9 pound pull on the Python, and on the single action it's going to be about a 6 pound pull. So it's going to be a little bit lighter than the heavier Anaconda, and that's just probably due to the size of the action and everything like that. So now we're going to pick up the granddaddy of them all, the older Colt Python, and we're going to see what the double action pull is on this old girl here. So let's pull back on the single action or double action, and first one reads 10 pounds. Let's clear that out and see how accurate that is. Well, see if we can get it to work. It's going to be 12 pounds. And let's do this again. £10. Let's just do a couple of these to make sure we got this right. And 9 pounds. Clear. 8 pounds. It's a high 8s. Clear. Ready. 11 pounds. It's all over the map, folks, but if you take an average on these, this is going to be right around the 9 pound range also. So 8 to 9 pounds on this one, and it's almost identical as the new one. And it also has a smooth trigger on it. A lot of people say it has stacking on it, and it sort of does. When it gets here, it gets a little tougher to pull. The newer one does not. It doesn't do any of the stacking. It's a little bit smoother all the way through. Now, the single action on this, we're going to pull this back here, and this is where this one should shine a little bit. And we're going to pull this and see where it does. It's going to be 5 pounds. So it's going to be a pound lighter right out of the gate. So we're going to clear it, hit it again. We're going to do a couple times just like we did on all of them. And it's going to be 5 pounds. So I think that's clear to say that this one's going to be a little bit lighter in the single action mode, and that is a thing that Colt did. It was about equal to it until the internet broke, when these newer Pythons had a couple of the light strikes, and then they stopped cycling around. The cycling around thing was the side plate being a little loose, but the light primer strikes was due, they were trying to match the pull weight of the older Pythons. They put a little bit heavier spring in them. They did a voluntary recall. You could send it in, and then all the ones manufactured after that, I think it was in the first 6 months or so, they put the heavier spring in them right out of the gate. So it's almost identical. The double action pull on it just feels a little bit smoother. Doesn't have that stacking to it. The single action is a little bit heavier than the vintage Python, but it's not a ton, folks. This one does feel a little bit lighter, but this double action pull, usually what people judge a revolver by, is about exactly the same. The Anaconda is going to be a little bit heavier, but this is a heavier gun, has bigger parts and everything like that, so you can understand. I'll show you a close-up of these really quick. This is the Anaconda 44 Magnum with the Altamont grips. This is the new release Python with the older Elite Altamont grips on them, and this is the vintage 1984 manufactured bright stainless Python with the factory wooden walnut target grips on them. If y'all have any questions on this, or you have any requests, anything you'd like me to show you, I've done videos on these. I've compared all these guns, but I hadn't done a trigger pull comparison yet. Let me know what you want to see. I hope this answers a few of your questions that you have, and thank you very much for watching my video today, and you folks have a great day.